From the Ticats Audio Network, this is Ticats Today with Louie B.
Yes, it is Ticats Today for a Tuesday, October the 19th, 2021. It's your digital host, Louie B. Thanks for checking us out on the Ticats Audio Network. And the Ticats were finally back on the practice field after what felt like about 3 weeks of bye. But no, it was only a week. It was one bye week, and the Ticats were back on the field today. We're going to hear from Coach Orlando Steinauer as he spoke after practice. We'll hear from Bralon, Addison, and Simoni Lawrence as well. My guest today, the offensive coordinator of the Ticats, Tommy Condell. And I'm going to get to some of your responses. I took to Twitter today to see how you're feeling about this final home stretch of games. 5 games left on the season. No more bye weeks. This is it. 5 weeks left in the season, the regular season for the Ticats. So we'll get to some of your responses on how you're feeling about kind of this final month and a half of the regular season. Some news before practice. As it was announced that the Ticats have activated Dane Evans from the 6-game injured list. He's now on the active roster. That's exciting news. Good news. Coach is going to touch on that in just a little bit. They've also added American defensive back Adonis Davis to the practice roster. He officially re-signed with the team last week. He's completed his quarantine period, and he was out there at practice. He actually attended training camp with the Ticats back in July. And he's a native of Bastrop, Texas, and he played 4 seasons at Abilene Christian University, where he had 146 tackles, 7 interceptions, and 26 pass breakups. But the big news there is that Dane Evans was activated off the 6-game injured list. He was back out there at practice, and here is head coach Orlando Steinauer as he spoke after practice on the status of Dane Evans.
Yeah, I thought Dane threw the ball well. Of course, we've been seeing his arm. He's been able to throw on the side, previous to this practice, Dave. And so it's really about putting the whole thing together, right? It wasn't an arm injury, obviously it was an oblique and whatnot. So it's really going to be how he feels tomorrow, right? You got to see, this is probably the most work that he's had as far as live reps and that sort of thing. So we'll wait and see how he feels for now.
Got it. But you're going to start Jeremiah in this week.
Yeah, I imagine Jeremiah is going to be the guy. But it's important that Dane. There's a good possibility Dane will suit up if he feels okay. Well, as far as after the bye week or heading into the bye week, there was obviously disappointment. But I don't sense that there was a lot of discouragement, and I think there's a huge difference there. Take care of their bodies and come back with their mind and their body fresh and ready to go. And that was the messaging. And, today is a lot like a first day of training camp or a first day after a bye week. I thought the energy was good, upbeat. Thought the execution was fair. And it was just good to be around everybody again. There is no focus on the last 5 games. The focus is all on Ottawa this week and the task at hand. So that would be the messaging as far as everybody knows how many regular season games are left. Our focus is solely on the one upcoming at 4:00, and that's really the messaging right now. All we can do is control today, and I thought we went out there and handled our business on the field, and I thought we had good preparation in the classroom. I thought the coaches did a tremendous job of preparing them, and I thought the players went out and gave a first-class effort. When I'm feeling the adjective here, right? Like, I just think it's fantastic for the city. I think Hamilton deserves the opportunity to do it to the utmost, as does every city, but the fact that we were able to secure one in 2023, I think it's outstanding. And, I'm excited that, anybody that has been around it knows that there's a reason you announce it well in advance, is so that you can do the best job that you can. There's so much that goes into it. It's just not a show up and throw a few parties. And so when we are going to get an opportunity to plan and without any restrictions. I think it's exciting for everybody involved.
That is the head coach of the Hamilton Ticats, Orlando Steinauer, providing an update on Dane Evans. Says he might dress, but looks like, when you heard it there, it looks like it'll be Jeremiah Masoli who will start for the Ticats on Saturday when they host the Ottawa Redblacks. Quick reminder, you can catch that game right here on the Ticats audio network. Andy Fantuz and I will have Tiger Cats pregame beginning at 3 o'clock. And then we'll hand it over to RJ Broadhead and Luke Tasker, who will have the call starting at 4 p.m. Speaking of Coach O, speaking of Luke Tasker, brand new episode of the Coach O Show with Luke Tasker just dropped today. So wherever you're checking out this podcast, make sure to check out that one as well. All right, more post-practice sound. Let's hear from Bralon Addison. Here's what he had to say after practice, and we started off just by asking, how was his bye week?
Not too bad, man. Got to go home and see some family. Just get a break a little bit and get to refocus. So a good break. I think certain guys, especially like when you've been doing it so long, after 2 heartbreaking losses and then a long season training camp. We had the earlier bye week, but sometimes it's always good to get away and just get that mental break and then be able to refocus yourself. So I think everybody, kind of looked forward to the bye week, whether they went home or traveled somewhere else or even just stayed around Hamilton and, just got a chance to relax the body and relax the mind. No, definitely. Obviously, we want to, look at the tape and look at the games we played and, see the mistakes and correct the mistakes. But at the same time, we still got a lot of stuff ahead of us. We're not in the best position right now, but we can still make some noise. So we obviously want to focus on, Ottawa coming up and then, just trying to win every game and just get better every day. Definitely. I think, when you put on this jersey, that comes with the territory. Everybody's gunning for us each week. But I just think that's the CFL period. I don't think there's any game where you can come in this league and just show up and just say, just because we showed up, we're going to win. Ottawa, they're, on the outside looking in as far as record goes. But if you watch the film, they're not a bad team at all. Like I said, this is the CFL. Every game is competitive. So, we just got to prepare this week. Prepare this week every day like we're trying to get better and trying to win a football game.
That is Bralon Addison as he spoke to us after practice today. And just one more piece of post-practice sound. Let's hear from Simoni Lawrence. And again, you can catch the full scrums, questions and answers. You can catch it over at ticats.ca. I try to take out some of the best pieces of the scrums to bring to you here on Ticats Today. But you can go to ticats.ca to get the full scrums with the questions and a little bit longer on video form. But here is Simoni Lawrence. And again, we started off by just asking, how was his bye week?
It was great. It was great. Mentally, it was great. Physically, it was great. Got a massage at the Ritz-Carlton for the first time in my life, so that was fun. But I'm excited to be back at work. This is what makes me the most happy. I was just making sure they just take time and spend time with their family and their loved ones and get some of that real love around you. You know what I mean? Because, like football it's exhausting. It's a lot of work. It's hard work. It's a grind. Physically and mentally. It's good just to step back away from it and just enjoy like regular life sometimes. Because they know that in the bottom of the season, the last 5 games, it's time to go to work. 100%. Like before, I remember guys like, oh, get away from football sometimes. I'm like, heck no, this is all I want to do, like I want to play football all the time. But, I know how important it is just to, reset, hit that reset button. It's the refocus button, and, just to be able to give your team your all. 100%. I feel like guys were flying around. You could see the fresh legs out there. Especially they were being mentally sharp, which is most important. Execution was high, and that's just what we're trying to focus on. Fundamentals. We got to do some fundamental drills today. That was key. That's always key in the back half of the season. I think that we're going to be in great position because we're coached very hard. I think that's part of the process, right? When you lose games like that, you sit there, you look yourself in the mirror and see, how can I get better? How can I help my team? And that's all part of the reset process of going on a bye week. You go through all yourself, you self-scout yourself and be like, how can I be better to help my team win more games? And I think all of us collectively did that on the bye week, and, just to come back and help each other out.
And that is Simoni Lawrence as he spoke to us after practice today. All right, I want to get to some of your responses. I took to Twitter today to find out how you're feeling about this home stretch, and we'll start with @TigerSammy. Says a win on Saturday and the following Friday, and we will be fine. I don't want to call them must wins, but ... Wally Walker @Wally_Walker. He replied with, "Okay, I will then," and a GIF from the show Billions. It says we have to win. So you're calling them must wins. I'm sure the team won't be calling them must wins. But I'll get to another response here. Manny Oliveira says if this team doesn't blow Ottawa out Saturday, then we better worry with exclamation points. Absolutely no excuses going forward. @Wally Walker, he had his own response here. He said, cautiously optimistic with Dane being activated and hopefully some other players. We can't count on the Argos and Alouettes and potentially the Western crossover teams to lose. The Ticats just need to win. Michelle, @M Lambrinow, Michelle Berrywinkle, she says she's terrified. That's it. She says she's terrified. Come on, Michelle. You want to stay confident. And Calvin Reed says, it's got to be a 5-0 run. I know they can do it. They just have to start finishing drives in the end zone. #Oski Wee Wee. We'll keep that conversation going over on my Twitter account @Louie B_TV, but appreciate all those who have tweeted in. Right now, very pleased to be joined by the offensive coordinator of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. It is Tommy Condell. And Coach Tommy, thank you so much for doing this. Appreciate it. I know you're a busy guy, especially coming off the bye week. And on that note, just wanted to start it off by how was your bye week? What did you get up to?
Oh, it was actually pretty good. I actually had a birthday, and then I was able to, cook breakfast, for the boys, drop them off at school, pick them up at school, So the chaos still was rolling for us, but it was good. It was a great chance to help the wife out, to tell you the truth.
I was talking about this with some of the other guys. Do you look at the bye week as like a hard reset that go home, spend time with your friends and family. Here's some homework. Here's some film, but let's come out of this fresh. Is it a hard reset, or how do you look at a bye week?
I think it depends. It takes on a lot of different connotations in regards to the context of the situation and things of that nature, and seeing where we're at and who we're playing, how quick the turnarounds are for games and stuff like that. So it all depends. So you get ahead of it a little bit sometimes, but you have to – I make sure I take the time at least to try not to think about everything, and that's, for me it's a little bit difficult because my mind's always – somewhat working all the time, and I really try to be in the moment, and because I owe that to my family and to my wife. So it's a challenge. Don't get me wrong, but it's certainly something that I try to do and make sure that I'm accountable to that.
And is that the message you give your team? Is that the message you give your offense? Is that, guys, get away from it. Like, do your homework, watch the film, stay in shape. Don't pig out. Like, right. You don't have to hit the bar every day.
Stay in shape, do the things that you need to do. Yeah. Get ahead, the things you need to get ahead, but you have to, it's a long season. It doesn't matter if you're playing the regular 18 game season or 14, it's still a long season. So you have to be able to, recharge in a way, but really refresh the mind and heart, and that's what we always talk about, being able to do that, to come back with energy and passion and get after it for this final stretch.
Dane Evans was activated off the 6-game injured list. Coach had said he had taken some reps out there today, but we'll see how he goes this week. Looking back now, not looking back, but the benefit of having two great quarterbacks in practice, regardless of who starts, Saturday, who starts week 13, what's the benefit of having two quality A+ starting quarterbacks in practice for you as a coach?
Well, number one, I think it just states the ultimate thing that we always talk about is competition. So there's always competition. competition always, because, and it's not such a competition of in regards to just, outdoing one other. That it's to be able to be accountable to each other, to compete and have fun in that state of competition that you would do if you were just playing horse, you know what I mean, with your brothers. And that's kind of what it is. Like, these guys are always competitive. So it's, we talk about iron sharpens iron, and it's true. It's something one person makes a throw, that other person wants to make the throw, and they help each other to become the best version of themselves. So that's what happens when you have, let it be any two great players, and hopefully those impact players can impact not only others, but make them grow. So that's always the case with any great athletes at the same position or other positions as well.
Kay Okafor, obviously on the 6-game injury list. We saw Hills out there, which looked promising. When you look at your offense, do you feel like, okay, this is the offense I wanted. This we're getting healthier. Like, how do you look at that? Getting healthy, getting guys back healthy. I know it's a next man up mentality, but having your ideal health lineup has got to be encouraging for you, and it looks like you're getting a little bit closer to that.
Certainly, anytime when you can have all the guys that are there, but in the same token, I really can't control that as much as I could, and I would do some type of dance in order to make it and throw some dust on those guys to make them healthier and stay healthy and not get hurt or something. I don't control that. We certainly don't. We got to control it. We have a controllable factors, and we do that. And it doesn't really matter. We'd love to have everyone out there and be in K, and for that matter, or anyone that comes back and that kind of thing. But you only can control what you can control, and you got to make a great meal no matter what the ingredients are that are there in front of you on the table. So to me, that's how we look at it, and that's how we're always going to try to make the very best winning meal that we can with the ingredients that we have. So I can't control that.
I asked you this last time. I'm going to ask you again. Do you know who the 2021 Hamilton Tiger Cats are yet? Or is that something that cannot be determined until the season is over?
I think no, not necessarily. I think it takes on different levels of it. You want to have an identity, but you have to have a consistency of like you said, a lineup of things, and to be able to grow and have a strong identity. I think in some other aspects, in some other years, you have it because you have a consistency of lineup, so to speak. But one of the things that we are certainly resilient. We've had the ability to play multiple people at multiple positions, and to be able to still have a chance to win football games, and also be able to have a chance to win games at the final thing. That's what we are. And as we go and uncover each other a little bit more in regards to, we can, I guess unwrap some presents under the tree as some of the things get back. But, the things that we have from a personnel standpoint is what we're going to do on offense, and what's going to be the strengths of that offensive players that are there. And so I think we're adaptable and we're resilient.
Losses are losses. They show up the same way in the standings. But when you look at your last 3 losses, was about by a combined 5 points. Like, is there something to take? Like, is that discussed that, hey guys, we're in these games, one play one way or the other, it's a different result, or is it, hey, it was a loss, we got to move on from it?
Well, I think you take it each loss as an entity of its own. It's not like any moral victories that say, hey, we lost by a point, we lost by this. It's things that are just looking at it arbitrarily and without any lenses on, and say, hey, these are the things that we did well on. These are the things that we need to improve upon. These are the things that keep showing up from a week-to-week basis. These are the things that we've improved on, right? And take it from there. You don't really look at, we lost by 1 point, or as you alluded to, 5 points or something of that nature. You look at the things in its entirety, and then singular focus on each play, and also call, technique, assignment, all those kinds of things to be able to improve on a not only on a weekly basis, but a daily basis. I think that's important, because your focus needs to be here and now, and the losses in regards to the points and stuff like that are inconsequential. It's about being able to be accountable to each other and to be able to improve on a minute-to-minute, moment-to-moment basis.
It's been a crowded quarterback room. You've had 4 quarterbacks. You are the quarterbacks coach of this team in addition to the offensive coordinator. What's that been like for you, and how is having 4 of those guys around in practice, in meetings, especially like Dane, coming out in streets and still doing what he can while out there? What's that been like for you as a coach who is, in charge of a lot, on any given practice, any given day?
I think that's a great thing to be able to have. I'm certainly, coaching quarterbacks previously in 2019, and then when I was here, it's always, you have to have a full load of a quarterback room. I don't think you never can have enough. I always feel that way, but I think you have to always be able to make sure that you can improve upon that room, and you're always looking to make sure you bring in the right people because they have quarterback is such a complicated position, but also to be able to make sure that they have the correct demeanor, how they study, are they a copious note taker, all those things. And to have all 4 of those, and to have players that come in able to lean on and watch Jeremiah Masoli prepare, watch Dane Evans prepare when he's not starting. Those are the things that are you can't measure, right? And you can talk about, but in order to be able to see, it's much more than just being able to tell them.
We'll finish up here. Jeremiah Masoli, I thought looked fantastic in that game. That they eventually lost on Thanksgiving to the Argos. But what have you seen from him, especially coming back from injury the last 2 weeks? And I know it was just day 1 of practice, but have you seen that? I don't even want to use the word development, but continued improvement back to 100% from Jeremiah, and the expectations for Saturday's game against the Redblacks for him?
Certainly, I would say improvement. I always say I think we always need to improve, and he's certainly, from being able to play the first 2 games and not play for all those weeks. You're talking about a month and maybe 2 months. I don't even know, but then to be able to come back, and this was the 2nd week back, without being able to play football for all those weeks, and then previously for all those about a year, to be able to get in there and have it with a live bolus, so to speak. I thought he did an unbelievable job in his progressions, and to be able to stay in the, of his footwork, making sure that he also used his legs, and was very, very aggressive in regards to intent and decision making. And to be able to do that, you have to do that during the game. You can get so much at practice, but to be able to do that and do it live, and have Jeremiah being his playmaking ability and that kind of thing, you get a chance to see that in case on the last game. And he's improved. He's constantly improving, not only from doing everything he can in the classroom setting, but out in the field as well, holding himself accountable. And he's really done that. And I'm very excited and proud of him.
Awesome. Coach Tommy, thank you so much for doing this. Appreciate it.
You are welcome, my brother.
My thanks to Coach Tommy Condell for joining me today, and my thanks to you for listening as well. Always appreciate it. Could not do the show without your support. Remember to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode of this show or any of the other great shows that we have here for you on the Ticats Audio Network, including, like I mentioned, a brand new episode of the Coach O Show, available wherever you got this podcast. We are back tomorrow, getting set for Saturday's game. Thanks for checking us out. Same time, same place tomorrow, right here on the Ticats Audio Network. I'm Louie B. Hoping you have a great day.
Ticats Today with Louie B. Subscribe, like, and get your Ticats fix every weekday.